Hello all you fine beautiful people, I'm back here once again with another video, and today I'm going to be doing an album review for RökFlöte by Jethro Tull. If you're new to the channel, hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, click the little bell down below so you don't miss anything. So let's delve into this album. It's his 23rd studio album by Ian Anderson as the head of Jethro Tull. Its genre is progressive rock. Ian Anderson said in interviews that he originally intended for this to be a fully instrumental album, and that kind of as the process went on, it kind of deviated from that. I'm still really interested to hear what an instrumental album from Ian Anderson would be and how you would go apart composing it and working that out. I think that is probably, a blueprint for the future of Jethro Tull. At least for the next record, might be a fully instrumental, because it would be interesting to hear. But anyway, he focuses on Norse pagan mythology and kind of the lore of Norse mythology and their gods. Looking at this, I have to say, where this album really hits now, I know some might want a very in-depth review, and I know I've put this off for a while. I'm just going to give you my general overall thoughts, because I think there's better channels out there that know a heck of a lot more than me, whether it be the music side, whether it be the lyric side. I'm just going to give you my general thoughts on this album. I think where this album works right off the bat is I think it keeps a very up-tempo nature throughout. Now, at times, some of the stuff Ian Anderson tries might fall a little bit flat, but I don't think it's to the part where it's like it's going to damage the album as a whole. I think there might be little stuff where you get a little samey with the flute, where it's like, okay, the flute and some of the guitar runs kind of sound similar as the album goes on. At least that's what I found listening to it. I could be completely off base there. There's some really nice, chunky, heavy, meaty guitar playing on this. And that's one thing where I look at this album and I'm like, well, where did it really get? Like, how did this album really succeed? And I think it's in the heaviness of it. I think the one thing that I've heard so many people talk about, and especially on the Zealot Gene, is Ian Anderson's voice and how shot it is. And there is parts to this album where you can hear where he tries to hit a note and he just can't hit it no more. And it's, I wouldn't say, like, I think Ian Anderson's also very aware of that. So the fact is that some of this made it into production is a little interesting. But I think it's not enough where it damaged the album. I think the songs are very well constructed. I think right off the bat, you listen to the guitars, the bass, Ian Anderson's flute, the keys, the drums, they all play off each other. And the only criticism I have in listening to my headphones, I'm not sure if it's just me, but it feels at times like the drums are low in the mix, or they're very high. Like, I hear them, it doesn't sound steady throughout each song on the album. Now, that could just be per song. It could be just me, who knows. I think there's some absolutely beautiful sections of flute, guitar, keys, whether it be synthesizers, Hammonds, all that, piano. This album has a feeling of just adventure to it, where you're listening to it and it feels like old Tull is back. Now, I know I haven't listened all the way through to a lot of Jethro Tull albums, but you can still tell at the essence of it that Jethro Tull is still there. Whether it be without Martin Barr or John Evans, I believe is his name, or Barrymore Barlow, or any of the other previous members of Jethro Tull, it feels like the essence is still there. And Ian Anderson is able to craft with lyrics some really great stories. And that's one thing I think that he'll always have, is that sharp wit. Now, I think he's also cognizant enough to say, hey, my voice is shot. I have to do this at a different feel, but I have to keep it kind of like Jethro Tull. So it feels at times a little bit like, I wouldn't say spoken word. It's not to, I believe, the how do I put that? Like to the Roger Waters, where it's like you can tell, like even on some of the newer stuff, like it's not quite that that it used to be. And I think he understands that, and I think it really works well. All the songs on here, whether it be Veluspo Ginagaga, I believe is the name of it. I could be completely wrong about that one. All Father, The Feathered Consort, Hammer on Hammer, Wolf Unchained, The Perfect One, Trickster, Cornucopia, Navigators, Guardians Watch, and Ithaval. I think it's really good. I have to say, off this album, I really enjoy the shorter song lengths from this. So each song doesn't kind of overstay its welcome. What I mean by that is there's not a song over 5 minutes, which I haven't heard the Zealot Gene to hear if that's the same thing. But at least the one thing about it is it doesn't overstay its welcome. There is a little bit of the guitars and bass kind of and drum sounding generic, but I don't think it hurts it. I think the guitar player on this, Joe Parrish-James, does a fantastic job matching Ian Anderson, meeting John O'Hara's keys, Scott Hammond on the drums, David Goodyear on bass. I think they all work together very well. And the more and more I listen to this album, the more I really enjoy it. I think it's one of these, the more and more you delve into it, the more happiness you find in it. Like, I've listened to this over the last 2 weeks, probably every day, at least once a day, because it's such a fantastic album. If I had to give it a grade, like, or actually, before I go into giving it a grade, I'm going to just give a brief rundown. Volupso has a lot of heavy breathing, female spoken word, and then followed up. It gets a very pleasant, then crunchy guitars come in. Flute and guitars work well together. Also, at the ending part there, you also have a male come in. The first part's in Icelandic, the second part's in English. I enjoy that. Guinapo, it has a more heavier, sinister feel intro with the flute and guitar, heavier song. Some awesome fills. Each instrument is really allowed to shine on that song. All Father, bass leads into a very pleasant sounding solo at the beginning, whether it be flute or one of the other things he's doing, and just some really interesting bass lines. The Feathered Consort, flute and acoustic intro, heavier sections. Vocals are very easy to listen to. That's one thing I love about this. Nice mix of pastoral sections. Hammer on Hammer, I just think is a great song. There is times on the song where I felt like he tried to reach a note he couldn't hit anymore. Love the music. The song is set to a very upbeat and catchy. Nice synth lines into a guitar solo, and I really, really like the ending to it. Wolf Unchained, nice hard rocker, almost metal-ish in a way, kind of feels like something very 80s. Love the guitar solo. Drums feel more prominent in that song. I do like the vocal style, it's very upbeat. Weird wolf noises at the end kind of makes it sound unnatural, like the wolf on it sounds very, very unnatural. The Perfect One, upbeat pastoral intro, chunky guitars, drums sound somewhat generic, like the guitar solo, interesting outro with the flute. The Trickster, Trickster and the Mistletoe, that's the name of the song, sorry. Hard rocker, has an English sort of feel to it, where the other ones you might say Norse, this one kind of has more English. Nice key fills, but the vocals feel very one note to me, and that's one thing about this album, is at times it does have that one feel. Cornucopia, nice flute and mandolin. Piano feels like a nice touch. I think this is more so what fits Ian Anderson's voice. I think Ian Anderson could also probably do a lot. If he wanted to do a Moody Blues Days of Future Past album, I think go for it because I think it would work really well. The Navigator's very upbeat, danceable rhythm to the song. Love the guitar riff. Some absolutely great keyworks. And this song just flat out rocks. I could see why they released this single. Fantastic song. Guardians Watch. Ian shows off on flute into a heavy beat. Danceable is what I have for it. Ithaval, interesting opening, has a heaviness to it. Love the reprise of the female vocals from the beginning to the end. I love that part. It reminds me so much of, what's the name of that album? Adam Heart Mother by Pink Floyd, where from Adam Heart Mother's Suite, get down, Psychedelic Breakfast, and they start reprising some of those themes back in. I think it's an absolutely great touch. Went through some of the pros and cons, especially the Ian trying to hit notes he can't hit no more. Vocals and drums get complacent at times. If I had to give it a grade out of 5 as a whole, I'll probably give it a 4 out of 5. I really dig this record. Do I think it's perfect? No. But is it enough? I think it's kind of in a conundrum here where I'm like, I don't think it's a 3.5. Is it a 4? So I thought, you know what, today I'm just going to say, you know what, 4. I think it's that good. I think it could be in my contention. I'm probably going to be doing a ton of album reviews of newer stuff this year, at least for the last, I want to say, bit of the year, and kind of catch up on some of the stuff I missed as well. But I have to say, for this album, I really enjoy it 4 out of 5. Anyway, that's my thoughts and opinions. I'd love to know what you guys think down below. Also, if you made it to the end, thank you. I love you guys. This is me here once again signing out. Peace.